So GE Capital is a very large business. The challenge with businesses like this is the amount of data that you actually host. GE Capital is the leading provider of commercial leases and loans for the mid-market. Mid-markets are our customers ranging in revenue between 10 million and 1 billion. When you are inside of a gigantic company like GE Capital, you're dealing with big numbers. And when you're working with big numbers, you're working with big data. In fact, at GE Capital today, we manage over 11 petabytes of data. 11 petabytes of data. What this translates to, this is enough capacity to store the personal information of each human being on this planet. Now, this is over 30 years of data about our customers and our products. But the next logical business question becomes, what do you do with that data? So our business leaders have challenged us for the longest time. Is there an opportunity to extract some of this data and transform this data into something that's valuable to our customers? And this is really the premise of creating a geospatial practice within a business like GE Capital, a financial service institution. And the idea of my role as the Geospatial Leader was to really, structure a team, bring the expertise in-house, and validate really whether or not location can bring customer value. And the answer is yes. So over the past 12 months or so, we've partnered with 4 GE Capital businesses, and we've uncovered over $800 million in market potential. We've also worked with the same businesses to create unique tools that's really shifting the mindsets and creating new value add to our customers. And in that process of creating these tools and in the process of validation of GIS inside of our organization, there was something very unique that happened to us. We start noticing a mindset shift in our customers externally, but also inside the organization. And this is what I'd like to talk to you about today. Is this mindset change where, for the longest time, looking at data as information. And we're now switching the mindset to look at data at a business context. And so I'd like to walk you through and share with you our approach, share with you a story externally, how we work with our customers, and also inside the organization, how that mindset really happened. But before I do that, what is really a mindset shift? A mindset shift really happens when you introduce something new to somebody. And all of a sudden, that person starts thinking and looking at the world differently. But the key to change someone's mindset is not about why you show them or the way they think. You have to show or understand the process in which they think about something. In other words, you have to demonstrate how the world works today and build your way up to show how the future could be. And we have a model that represents this well. So at GE Capital, we firmly believe that customers drive our success. As important as it is to understand our customers, it's really critical to understand how their world works. And oftentimes, as you compare the two, you're finding gaps. And as you're working with your customers to figure that out and close that gap, that's when you find your opportunities. And while you keep working with your customers, you start envisioning with them and building your future. And that's how we come up with our strategies and execution plan. And if you take a step beyond that, this model represents that now is the time to look at industry trends and looking at technology trends. And throughout the conversation, I'll keep referring to this model. And this also reminds me a quote from Steve Jobs when he used to talk about product development. And he used to say, you've got to start with your customer experience and work your way back toward the technology, not the other way around. And, we've been talking about a conversation where we're in the midst of this digital evolution. And it has become a cliche to talk about how fast technology is moving, and companies are really challenged today to keep up with the technology. And some companies are really struggling to remove themselves from the technology conversation and focus on what's really critical, which is their customer. So how do you remove yourself or divorce yourself from the technology discussion and focus on your customers? Well, I believe that location has the power to shift mindsets. So if you think about our motto again, location really glues everything together. Location, and when I say location, I'm talking about not only from the technology sense, but most importantly, from the business context. Because there's always a where here for everything in business, right? So in GE Capital, we spend a lot of time with our customers. We host many customer events similar to this picture. This has actually happened early this year in Atlanta. And what this customer events allow us to do is gives us the opportunity to hear firsthand from our customers what gaps they have, what challenges they have. And also gives us, GE, the opportunity to go to them and share as a team. So we have technology teams, we have sales and marketing coming together and demonstrating our prototypes and projects that we work internally so we can introduce something new sometimes. But most importantly, truly understand their pain points. And during one of these conversations with the customers is where we start realizing, through proof of concept, that customers think geographically about the business. So we have customers coming up to us and saying, well, I wish I could see my market differently. I wish I could see where my customers are coming from, what am I driving my sales. I wish I could use social media to figure out where people are talking about my products. So let me give you a quick real-life example of this particular business that we work with at GE Capital. So commercial distribution finance is one out of 15 businesses within GE Capital Americas. They are the leading providers of inventory financing. They cut across 17 industries and serve over 30,000 dealers. But in this particular instance, we worked with their motorsports industry division. And they really embraced this model and really had a very tight relationship with their customers. And they came up with a very interesting application, I would say a very amazing application that's really shifting the mindsets of how their customers use their internal data aggregated with external data. So I'll play a quick video which will give you a little overview of the business as well as an overview of the tool.
At Commercial Distribution Finance, we analyze internal portfolio and third-party transactional data with Dealer Insights, an innovative tool that navigates an increasingly complex industry landscape, helping customers make reasoned decisions faster and with more confidence. For example, a dealer can use the inventory aging section to compare their inventory against those of their peers, allowing them to easily discover aging inventory that needs to be prioritized and moved quickly to reduce inventory carrying costs. The free floor plan end date section provides a consolidated, forward-looking snapshot of interest coming due, helping dealers proactively manage expenses and cash flow. These insights help dealers know where to direct their marketing plans and social media, thus optimizing inventory turn and creating a healthy outcome for manufacturers, dealers, and CDF. Marketing Insights allows dealers to explore growth opportunities for increasing product sales, highlighting areas where market share is low but have high sales potential. These insights allow them to target a geospatial location and smartly invest in a marketing campaign, thus increasing demand for their inventory. These insights help them know where to market and the optimal way to reach their customers, allowing the dealer to sell more and CDF to finance more. A true win-win relationship.
So if you are a dealer selling dirt bikes, 2 months ago, you didn't have the ability to look at your inventory and then really understand it, and have alerts telling you which inventory you should shift around. 2 months ago, you didn't have the ability to look at your market and really compare how you're doing in comparison to your peers. So this is really shifting the mindsets because they now have something they didn't have before. So I talked about our approach, I talked about our external customers, so I'll flip the switch a little bit over to our internal teams. Because as we were focusing so much on the customers, and we're listening to them, we learn so much about ourselves. So we learn how to be faster, how to operate as a team, and turn things around very quickly and work at market speed. So we went back to our offices and figuring out, having the dialogue of things that we've learned. Said, well, we have data for ourselves, for our sales and marketing organizations, and we have this tremendous amount of data, so isn't that an opportunity to use the same approach internally? And we engaged ourselves in many prototypes, and prototype to us represents from writing on a whiteboard to taking the desktop analytics tool, downloading data into it, and turning things around in a matter of days. And that really has changed the mindset in the business as well, because now we have the ability to we talked about small data yesterday, is our ability to take a little piece of the 11 petabytes of data, but demonstrating real business value to our business leaders. And in one of these instances, I'm actually sitting in my office, and there's someone that works for me driving the desktop tool. And then I have someone from the business side that really understands the business and what questions the business is trying to answer, and someone from the customer experience team. And meanwhile, this commercial leader walks by, and he says, hey, Gustavo, I hear you guys are working something cool. And I said, well, please sit down, and let's show it to you. And what we're showing to him is this tool that, for confidentiality reasons, I can't actually show the real tool, but you're going to get the concept out of this, is this very unique tool, or this concept, that we take existing data from his business. We work with data scientists that are part of the GE Research Center. And they created this model with 15 different variables from the industry and from our customers. And they basically create a predicted model that allows us to see data on how customers or prospects would be similar to the ones we had in the past. But then what we did was we added the location layer to it. So not only they could see the numbers themselves, but now on a map they can see where potential growth is. So with that, we did the same concept over and over again and tried as many times as we could until we got it right. So that's how we came up with the $800 million in market potential across 4 different businesses. And after this presentation, this marketing leader just stops us and says, oh my God, I've always thought about my business this way, but I didn't know the technology could do this. And it's one of those aha moments that you stop, and we stop as a team, and he said, this is how we should measure ourselves. How many aha moments we create. And this is really the ability that I think, the power that the location has, which allows you to say, hey, here's how your business is today, but this is how your business can be in the future. And there are 3 things I'd like to share with you. So of all the things I'd like to be here for some time sharing a lot with you, but there's 3 main things that I think we learned and I think may pertain to all of you. So data is really the DNA, right? Looking at data as information is one thing, and with all the respect to our spreadsheets and graphs and reports, they're all good stuff for what they're worth. But when you transform data into business insights, it's a mindset change. Second, location brings context. You now have geospatial that brings a new dimension of data that didn't have before. And when they see it, and similar to the business leader that I mentioned to you, now he sees this business in a completely different way, and that's a mindset shift. Businesses now have the ability to virtually travel to a place and figure out that in a canyon like that, you can place a restaurant, right? So you're looking at the world, from your office. And last, we learned that we need to be business people or business partners who happens to bring technology expertise. We need to divorce ourselves from technology back to our model. It's about focusing on the customer, speaking the customer language, understand their pain points, and clearly articulating as a group what we're solving for. And then work our way towards the technology discussion and solution. And with that, I think we're in a very unique place today. I think we all gather here today, and this week, starting yesterday with the great speakers we heard and their stories, to share with each other about how location can impact our businesses. I'd like to continue that conversation, encourage all of you to continue the dialogue, because I believe we have the power to shift mindsets. Thank you.
Thank you, Gustavo. Terrific. I'll take that. What an incredible story about how GIS plays a leadership role in changing a company. How would you, and what would you recommend to the audience in terms of how they might go about using these same methods in their companies? How might they change mindsets in companies where the leadership doesn't understand these locational and geospatial issues?
I think it's really going back to the model, right? It's focusing on understanding your customers, whether they're externally or internally. Remove yourself from the technology discussion for the time being. And once you get that down, and then you truly can articulate it back to them and acknowledge that you understand their pain points, then you come back with something that's going to surprise them. It's not about, hey, this is the future I came up with that might solve you this problem, but it has to be a business-sounding solution that really articulates you can either help them improve a process, you can help them see new revenue, and the solutions go on and on and on.
So speak their language.
Speak their language, absolutely.
Great story, Gustavo. Thank you.
Thank you.